Court has extended Sassa's contract with Cash Paymaster Systems by 6 months to pay social grants. Sassa approached the court last month requesting a 6-month-long extension of its contract with CPS to disburse millions of social grants.
Meanwhile, the North Gauteng High Court has ordered grants distributor Cash Paymaster Services to pay back over 300 million rand that it unlawfully received from the Social Security Agency, Sassa. In delivering judgment, Justice Moroa Tsoka ordered CPS to pay the money it received from June 2014 to date with accrued interest.
Well, Corruption Watch approached the court back in March 2015 to ask it to declare this transaction between Sassa and CPS unlawful. The same court is also set to decide a request by Sassa to have its invalid contract with the grant distributor Cash Paymaster Services extended by a further 6 months.
The contract to pay social grants to 17 million beneficiaries was entered into in 2012 but was declared invalid by the Constitutional Court in 2014. In March last year, the court suspended its invalidity until the end of this month to avert a social grants crisis and to allow for the continuation of the payments of grants and also to give Sassa time to appoint a new grants distributor.
It is declared that for the period of 6 months, from 1 April 2018, Sassa and Cash Paymaster Services, CPS, are under a constitutional obligation to ensure payment of social grants to beneficiaries who are paid in cash. 3. The declaration of invalidity of the contract between Sassa and CPS in relation to cash payments of social grants to beneficiaries who are paid in cash is further suspended for a 6-month period from 1 April 2018.
Well, for more on these rulings, in fact, by the Constitutional Court as well as the High Court, we're now joined by David Lewis, who's the Executive Director at Corruption Watch. David, thanks very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to you. CPS has to pay back the money.
Yes. We're delighted, obviously. I mean, this was a contract, aside from the first unlawful, invalid contract that they entered into, which we were also part of having struck down. They also entered into this payment that the Auditor General could find no basis for, and we looked further into it. We could find no basis for a 317 million rand additional payment that Sassa made to CPS. And so we started 2 years ago court proceedings to challenge that, and the upshot today was that the court declared the agreement to pay this 317 million rand unlawful, and it ordered CPS to pay the money back with interest. It amounts to, we're getting close to R500 million rand here, and it couldn't have happened to nicer guys as far as I'm concerned.
So what's concerning is that at some stage, Sassa itself was defending the payment.
Well, Sassa defended the payment until a couple of weeks before it got to court, actually, which we also are querying because, they ratcheted up our legal costs and, well, in the end, they're going to have to pay them. But they opposed it until literally until the door of the court, so that in the end and then withdrew their opposition, having, as I say, obstructed it getting to court for 2 years. Then CPS were left as the only opposition to our application, and they have gone down now. But at some stage, what is the expression? One is bad luck, twice is. Once is maybe an accident, twice starts to look a little bit like, too good to be true. And you've got to ask, why does one agency is not able to follow the lawful proceedings to enter first into a 10 billion rand contract, now into a 300 million rand contract, you've got to ask, who is it that benefits from this? Why did they do this? Is it just because they don't understand how to follow the really rather simple prerequisites of entering into a public sector contract? Or is there somebody in Sassa or the Social Development Ministry that is benefiting by making these mistakes that constantly favor this one company, And that's a question that the Hawks have to ask and look for the answer for, because we are not satisfied that this has been gotten to the bottom of. The contract has been declared invalid for procedural reasons, but we need to ask, and the Constitutional Court indeed did ask the question, why does this always happen, and who benefits from it?
And finally, your thoughts about the other judgment in the Constitutional Court where this contract's been extended yet again?
Well, again, this is the umpteenth time in which it's been extended. The Constitutional Court and organizations like ourselves and the Black Sash and whatever are left with no alternative, because we care about the social grant beneficiaries. And Sassa have not taken the steps necessary, despite the court's rulings, to enable the state to do what is its core business, and that is pay the social grants beneficiaries themselves, or enter into a contract with an organization that is not being, whose contracts have not been declared invalid in the same way. And so, again, you've got to ask the question, why? But there was the court had no option but to extend this. Anybody who cared for the social grant beneficiaries would have done the same thing.
All right, David Lewis, we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us. That's Corruption Watch's Executive Director, David Lewis, talking to us about two judgments today. Constitutional Court extending CPS's contract by another 6 months, and also that CPS has been ordered to pay back more than 316 million rand that it had been paid by Sassa illegally, and they've been forced to pay that back. Kirshni?